Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving deep into the world of a truly remarkable creature.
A tiny creature, but with a huge GE story.
That's right, the Rufous Hummingbird.
Yeah.
I've got some really cool excerpts from a text titled Pasted Text, and they offer some fascinating insights. I mean, just to kick things off, did you know that the Rufous Hummingbird makes one of the longest migrations in the animal kingdom relative to its size?
Yeah, over 3,000 miles.
3,000 miles.
Incredible.
Think about that for a second. That's like if you were only a few inches tall, traveling across, like, entire continents.
It's mind-blowing.
So let's start with the basics, their appearance. Paint us a picture. What do these little dynamos look like?
Well, the male Rufous hummingbird is really striking.
Oh, yeah.
He has this vibrant, fiery orange body, and then an iridescent red courgette.
Like a little jewel.
It is like a tiny flying jewel, and then a white chest.
Beautiful.
The females are a bit more subdued, but still beautiful.
Yeah, more of a greenish, rusty kind of plumage, right?
Exactly, green and rusty brown. But both are incredibly tiny.
No, that's how tiny are we talking?
Only 3 to 4 inches long.
Wow.
And they weigh less than a nickel.
Less than a nickel. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to that mind-blowing migration. I mean, how do they even do it? What makes it possible for such a tiny bird?
Well, you might think their size would be a disadvantage, but it's actually a key to their success.
Really?
They're so light and agile, and their wings, they're powerful, beating up to like 50 to 70 times per second.
Wow.
It's incredible. They can hover, fly backwards, change direction instantly.
So they're like tiny little helicopters.
Exactly. And this incredible flight ability, it lets them cover vast distances, and it also helps them to fuel up for their journey.
Right, because they need a lot of energy for all that flying.
They do. They feed constantly, mostly on nectar from flowers.
That'll make sense. High energy sugar.
Right. It's like their high-octane fuel. And speaking of feeding, they are really protective of their food sources.
Yeah, I've heard they can be quite aggressive for their size.
Oh, yeah, they're little warriors. They'll chase away birds many times their size to defend their favorite flower patch.
I wouldn't want to mess with them.
No, they're feisty.
So tell me, their migration, it takes them through all sorts of different environments, right?
Yeah.
From like the Alaskan wilderness down to the Mexican tropics.
It's amazing.
How do they navigate such a diverse landscape?
Well, they have this really exceptional memory.
Like, what do you mean?
They can remember the exact locations of specific flowers, even feeders, along their entire route.
Wow.
They're basically using like natural GPS.
That's incredible. And you mentioned the different environments. They must encounter so many different types of flowers along the way.
Yeah, just imagine that variety. And get this, they can even see colors in the ultraviolet spectrum.
Wait, so they're seeing a whole world of colors that we can't even perceive.
Exactly. It's a world we can only imagine.
That's fascinating. I wonder if that UV vision helps them, to find food.
Oh, I bet it does. Flowers that might look very similar to us could have completely different UV patterns.
So maybe it's like a secret code.
Right. It helps them differentiate between flowers, maybe even remember the locations more easily. They're looking for very specific types of nectar, and those UV patterns might be the key.
Like a roadmap.
Yeah, a roadmap to the best food sources.
Incredible.
It is.
All this while they're dodging predators, dealing with changing weather patterns. I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
Absolutely. It makes you realize how resilient they are.
And how fragile.
Yes, definitely. Their average lifespan is only about 3 to 5 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so each one is precious.
Yeah.
And they face a lot of threats: habitat loss, climate change, pesticides.
Yeah, it's a lot.
These factors can really disrupt their delicate migratory patterns, their food sources. It's a tough world for a hummingbird.
Speaking of food sources, we talked about them feeding on nectar, but they're also important pollinators, right?
Absolutely. As they move from flower to flower, they spread pollen, helping plants reproduce.
Right, so they're not just surviving, they're playing a crucial role in the ecosystem.
Exactly. The more we understand about their adaptations, their behaviors, the more we appreciate how interconnected everything is in nature.
You mentioned their nests earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I've read that they're like amazingly intricate, these tiny little masterpieces.
They are. The females, they weave these tiny cup-shaped nests. They use spider silk, plant fibers,
Wow.
and they camouflage them so well within the foliage. It's really impressive.
That's amazing.
And then, of course, you have the males and their courtship displays.
Oh, yeah, tell me about that.
They put on quite a show, diving and swooping through the air, flashing their brilliant gorgets to attract a mate.
It's a little dramatic, isn't
Oh,
it?
very dramatic. But it's beautiful to watch.
It really is amazing how much beauty, how much complexity is packed into these little creatures. Just makes you wonder, what other secrets are they holding?
Right. What else can we learn from them?
What else can we learn from them about the natural world?
Exactly. And maybe even more importantly, how can we use what we learn to inspire us to protect them?
Yeah, to protect them and all the amazing biodiversity they represent.
Absolutely.
Because their story is a reminder that even the smallest creatures have a vital role to play.
They do.
And it's up to us to make sure they can keep on buzzing for generations to come.
I agree.
So that's our deep dive into the incredible world of the Rufous Hummingbird
Tiny bird.
with a giant story.
Definitely.
Until next time.
See you then.